Grand Rising for me and Sleeping Boy on. So, today I want to talk about righteous judgment because I feel like a lot of Christians are so judgmental. And, like, I was one of them. I was like, oh my god, she's wearing a crop top. Oh my god, she's doing that. Oh my god, he's doing that. Like, I had all these judgments towards people that I shouldn't have been judging. And in my head, it was like justified. Like, well, that's inappropriate. That's morally incorrect. Well, who gets to say what morals are? Because honestly, like, I have seen more love from strippers than I have seen from Christians. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. Righteous judgment is not you being like, oh, like, for example, okay, when I went to go sit with ayahuasca, I had a Mormon tell me, one of my Mormon friends, I've known her since I was 5. She told me that it was demonic that I was going to sit with ayahuasca. And I'm like, how can you claim that? Like, how can you claim that as a human? Because somebody else told you or made you believe that plant medicine's evil? Someone made you believe that nature, what God put here, is evil? Who told you that? Like, who made you believe that? And why are you calling somebody demonic or saying it's demonic? Because Satan is the accuser, okay? If you're accusing the people of being demonic, you should probably take a look at yourself and what you're saying. To me, righteous judgment is... I can give a few examples, actually, because I have seen it in my own family. I have seen the way that adults in my family have treated children, and I do not agree. That is righteous judgment. When you see the way that people treat their children or treat others, that is righteous judgment. I don't agree with the way you did that. I don't hate those people. I don't shame those people. I just don't agree with the way they did that. However, a lot of Christians, and one thing I grew up with was, for example, cannabis, weed. I was told growing up that people who smoke weed are losers. And I didn't believe that, but I kind of did. It was in my head, you know. So then when I did smoke weed, I almost felt like, am I being a loser? Like, I had this thought in my head that I'm being a loser because I'm smoking weed, or if my mom ever found out, she's going to think I'm a loser. So then I feel like this shame around cannabis, and you shouldn't feel that shame because cannabis is a very beautiful medicine. Just like any other medicines can be abused. I've seen people, you know, who just go sit with ayahuasca just to get high. It's like you have to have the right intention. When you use a medicine, right, you're using it to heal. You're using it to help you with something. You shouldn't be using it to escape. And weed, alcohol, other drugs are not the only drugs or addictions out there. Your phone, food, there's other things that people think are healthy addictions, but they're not. Like I said, the phone is one of the worst ones. A lot of kids are neglected because the parents are too busy scrolling on their phones or they're on their TV and they don't want their shows interrupted. Also, food. A lot of people will escape and go to food. Instead of sitting with their emotions and their feelings and processing things, they'll go in the kitchen and they'll eat because they're anxious about something. That's also a form of escapism. So yes, weed, alcohol, things like that can be abused and they can be evil or bad, I guess, but they can also be used for good. Because I will say, alcohol is a good way to get out of your comfort zone. You know, when you're out having a blast and you want to dance, like, it does make your body move and flow. So there are good things to alcohol. I don't think all alcohol is bad. I think that, again, if you are using it to escape your emotions and your feelings, yes, that is bad. Weed. I did an experiment on my body for the last 2 years using cannabis at different rates, different ways I was using it. There are times that I would smoke it all day long. There are times that I would take breaks for a month or a week or whatever, and I would just try to see how my body's reacting to it and what it does for me. So I can know for myself, because all of our bodies are different, how it works for me. And one thing I will say is that, yes, when you are using it a lot, it's not that you're lazy, it's that you enjoy just sitting by yourself doing nothing. Like, you're okay just relaxing and focusing on, like, your mind. Or like for me, I will get a lot of memories popping up when I use cannabis. I'll get a lot of thoughts flowing that are very healing. It's very healing, but it's also, like, can be a little hard sometimes because you do think about things in a whole other perspective, and that can cause a little anxiety, which is why a lot of people, when they first smoke weed, they're like, oh, I can't smoke weed. I was so anxious on it. Yeah, because your mind is thinking about things that you don't normally think about, which is not a bad thing, and that can make you feel anxious. But it's also very healing because you're able to process through things. It is medicinal. It helps with pain, anxiety, lots of things that cannabis can help with. This is one that people don't like, and that might be, but cocaine. Like, we're told by society that cocaine is bad, but that's safer than a lot of these pharmaceuticals that people get put on for pain. And it's not, I'm not saying you should use it all the time, but like I do view cocaine as medicinal. And we're in a society where it's illegal and it's shamed and it's judged. And like I didn't realize when I was a kid how cocaine's everywhere. It is everywhere. I mean, when I was 15 on the bus, one of this kid on my bus had it. I didn't even know what it was. He was like, "Oh, try this, go like this and put it in your gums." And I did that and my gums were all numb and I didn't even know what it was. So crazy I did that. And then as I got older, I learned what cocaine was. I was like, oh, that was totally cocaine, oopsies. And I told myself I'll never do cocaine because you hear all this bad stuff about it, right? And I have seen people abuse it and who are way too addicted, and it can destroy your life just like anything else, but it can be used as a medicine. And that also like gets your energy flowing, and it does help with like thoughts and things like that. So there is some good things when it comes to these medicines that we're told we're not allowed to use. Psilocybin and mushrooms, or psilocybin, magic mushrooms. Also another thing, there's a lot of studies coming out for people with PTSD and other disorders or mental health problems that this medicine is helping to heal people. We have a society who shames and judges it and thinks it's so evil and so wrong and it's a drug and you're fucked up. Because a lot of people who do use a lot of it, they are living very simply, because when you use that, you start to see what really matters most, and community matters more than material items. When you use these medicines, it makes you look at the earth different, it makes you look at humanity different, it makes you look at everything differently. It changes your whole perspective, which is why I always say that I truly believe that magic mushrooms will save the entire world. And there are like people who have come out saying that like that's what Yeshua was doing. He was providing these medicines to people, and that was actually healing people, not Jesus himself, not the human, but it was the medicine. Also, Reiki healing. I do believe in Reiki healing. I believe that energy healing is very real. When you put an energy or a frequency out over somebody's body, that can be very healing, and people have come out with their testimonies of how healing this is. They've had like pain and their body healed. And usually the pain in your body is tied to a trauma that happened when you're younger. For example, when I was going to the church, I had somebody tell me, who was a Christian at the time, that he was a healer, that he had some guy had a hip pain. He had hip pain or something like that, or it was his leg. He had a really bad pain in his leg for a really long time, and it wouldn't go away. And this man like laid hands on him and like talked with him, talked through it, whatever. Come to find out, this man was kicked in the leg when he was a child, and he had been holding on to that anger and resentment towards that person who had kicked him. It was a trauma that happened. And once he was able to forgive that person and heal that trauma, the pain went away. So I do believe a lot of like health issues and pain in our bodies are tied to trauma. When we were younger, like when you have a lot of throat issues and stuff, it means that you have a hard time, even when it attaches to the chakras as well, the chakra system, which there's 7. And the Bible talks about God's promise, the rainbow. There's 7 chakras, 7 colors. It's the rainbow chakra, right? You have your root, your sacral, your solar plexus, your heart chakra, your throat chakra, your third eye, your crown. Is that all of them? I know that's 7. But anyways, that's your like meridians. It's like your frequency. Like you have to have those chakras balanced to live in heaven. Because heaven's not a place that you go when you die. Heaven and hell is a place that you experience here on earth. And whatever energy you put out, like the Bible says, you reap what you sow. That's karma. You reap what you sow. Whatever you plant, if you are going to be malicious and mean to somebody, you're going to get that same energy back, whether it's from that person or somebody else. You are going to live a life in hell when you are being icky towards people. When you're being loving and kind and generous and giving and caring, you're going to have that come back on you. And I know this from my personal experience, you guys, because I have been that judgmental, nasty person shaming people, right? And now I'm like, what are you doing, Stephanie? Like, you don't know their story. You don't know what they've been through. Like, just love them for who they are. You know, accept them for who they are. And some people are not my vibrations, and I don't want to be around them, like, physically, but I still love every person, right? And even if I was in a situation where it's, like, a whole gathering is happening, I would still be around those people. I would be like, I'm not going because that person's going to be there. I'm not scared of people. I don't live in fear. I still can treat every person, who, even if they've wronged me, which there are people who have really, really wronged me, that others would be like, get the fuck out of my, they would not want to be around that person at all, but I would still be around those people. I would still treat them with love and kindness, because that's just who I am as a person. do I not, like, I don't like the things that they may have done, right? And that's that righteous judgment where it's like, I don't agree with what you've done and I don't want to do that. But it doesn't mean that they are bad. It means that they made a mistake, they did something bad, but it's not always their fault. They are projecting their own insecurities. They are projecting their own mindset, their own fears onto other people. And that's happened a lot to me by my family because they're Christian. And I even did this to my kid, okay? When Avalani was younger, I used to yell at her a lot. I used to spank her because I didn't know better. It's the way I was treated, right? If you don't stop crying, I'll give you a reason to cry, you know? And I started mirroring that same behavior with Avalani, and then I started realizing this does not make me feel good. Like, I was judging myself, righteous judgment myself, where I was like, this is not right. This is not okay to be treating your daughter this way. And even Avalani, like, she'd be like, oh, you yelled at me. You yelled at me. I'm like, well, why did I yell at you? And she'd even say, because I was being acty. Because I would say, you're acting up right now, Avalani. But she's having an emotion and a feeling. Or having a strong emotion where it's like, it was too much for me to handle because it was too much for my mom to handle. But now I've learned that she is a human being. She's a child. She's having these really strong emotions, and I need to mirror the correct way to react in situations so that way she doesn't react in an angry way. It's like, okay, how can we help you work through this? Now when she's crying or having an emotion, right, it is annoying, okay? When kids cry and whine, it is fucking annoying. It is so fucking annoying. It's like this energy in your body where you're like, shut the fuck up. But you can't do that. You can't do that. You have to say, hey, why are we upset? What's going on? You need a hug? Like, I always ask her, do you need a hug, Avalani? And there have been times where if she's crying in front of people, I will pick her up and I will go sit her in another room and I'll sit there with her as she cries. I don't go put her in her room and put her in timeout and say, you can come out when you're done crying. I sit with her now. I didn't used to do this, but I sit with her now. And I wait till she's done crying. And then usually after she's done crying, she'll get up, she'll come sit on my lap, and we hug each other and we hold each other. She just needed to feel those emotions, and that's okay to feel those. We shouldn't be shamed for feeling emotions. We shouldn't be judged and shamed for feeling something. Because that's the society we're living in right now, is that people are being shamed and judged for living or for having emotions. And, like, now I'm seeing in these courtrooms, I don't want to get into this, but, like, I'm seeing in, like, these courtrooms that if these moms react to CPS and DCF, I use that against them. It's like, well, you're taking someone's kid away. How do you want them to react? These are normal emotions that we're feeling, and now we're all in society, like, you're basically being criminalized for having an emotion, for reacting with an emotion. And it shouldn't be that way. There are ways that you can judge people, but there are ways that you should not be judging people. And however you do that is up to you. But karma is a very real thing, and I'm seeing karma play out in so many people's lives right now. So I'd be careful with how you're judging people and how you're treating people, because karma season is here. And I am seeing my karma play out in my life. I am seeing karma play out in other people's lives. So be very, very careful with how you're judging people, with how you're treating your children especially. Your children are brand new humans to this world. They don't know how to act. They don't have the same common sense that we've had because they haven't been here as long as us. It's up to us to lead by example on how we want them to act. So now in situations, I stay very calm when it comes to Avalani. I'm like, how can we correct the situation? You know, I don't sit here and yell at her and shame her, go to your room. Oh, you know, and she does. She can be a little biatch sometimes, right? And I can be a little biatch sometimes. And that's just like normal, but we both apologize when we do that. We're both learning from each other. I don't shame her for stuff. I try not to. If I do, I don't try to, you know. But I've definitely taken a look at myself. I've taken a look at the way I was raised. I've taken a look at the way that Christians, especially, and the only reason why I speak about Christians is because it's the religion I grew up in. I know Muslims as well have been very abusive to their children, so it's not just Christians. But for me, all I can say is that the behaviors I've seen from the religious people is not loving, it's not kind, it's very judgmental, it's very shameful, gossiping behind people's backs. I don't like that. I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want my kids around that. And I'm not going to do that in front of my kids, because then she's going to mirror that same behavior. Like, I've seen Christian people literally like, oh, did you hear what so-and-so did? Oh my God, just talking all this crap about them. And it's like, that's a human being who's going through something. I've had friends who are alcoholics who have told me their Christian sisters, like when they say they get sober, oh yeah, I got sober and I told my sister, and she's like, I don't believe you that you're sober. Why are you saying that to them? Now you're putting them down, telling them a liar. Like, how is that loving and kind? Accept people for who they are and help them. Like, don't shame them for their addiction issues. Be like, hey, how can I help you right now? Like, what do you need from me? Be there for them. Be loving and kind. Don't shame, manipulate, and judge. And don't do it to your children, because they grew up and they do it to other people. So, righteous judgment. Watch how people are acting and treating each other, and just be loving and kind, because that's what we need in this world right now. We don't need any more mean energy, mean girl energy. Excuse you, Boyan. We want loving and kind energy, and that's what I'm raising my kids in. And that's what we're gonna do. So anyways, have a great day. I love you.